bomb that bitch. God. Hey, y'all go see soon. We come up with
another one. We just here playing some NCAA. I don't know who I'm gonna pick yet, but we here with the one and only Coach Red. Yeah. How long you been coaching so far?
This upcoming season will be fourth year. Well, 4th year high school coaching, 5th year coaching in total. Year before I went to high school, I started in college at a D2 school in Oklahoma. So 4th year high school coaching at Westport High School. Go Pack.
You feel me? Dubs up.
Yep.
Dub Nation.
Alma mater.
Yeah. What the fuck that mean though?
That means that's where we went to school and graduated from.
Let's start off at your senior year. You know, like,
okay.
What was like your first couple of offers or visits?
Offer wise, wasn't many. It was like a span of a month that I got reached out to and had conversations with a bunch of like Division II schools, and then one day I just got called in the coach's office, and he was like, "Hey, there's a school, Liberty University, you know, smaller D1 school out of Virginia," and just give me the rundown, telling me that they were in the area and they kind of seen my film after he showed them, and they wanted to talk to me and look at me for a little bit and, you know, kind of have a conversation and see what that looked like. Besides them though, just other D2 schools came, and a few coaches came by, talked to me as well. And kind of, I don't want to say they offered me. It's like a weird situation with the D2, D3 schools. They kind of give you an offer, I guess you can call it, but it's not like, you know, at those divisions, majority of them aren't full rides. So it's kind of like, it's a scholarship offer, but it's just a different, you know, aspect of it. And other than that, I think, I want to say junior year, I had a few things going as well. Like, I was just going on unofficial visits. I went up to New Jersey to go see Princeton, like maybe because I had good grades, real good grades. So certain schools like that in New Jersey, Princeton, New Jersey. I went up there and I was talking to I want to say Dartmouth. There's only like 2 of those type of schools, and then, you know, there was other schools that were talking to me junior to senior year, but then, you know, most of the actual time to make a decision process time was at the end, in that winter, at the end of that last season for senior year. But going back to the Liberty situation, it was just because that's where I ended up committing and spending my collegiate years. That was a matter of when the coach came, he saw me, looked at my body, you know, like they kind of give you an eye test and see what they can do with you type of deal. And he kind of gave me the rundown saying, you know, as far as my position, because I played safety, they had pretty much filled up their safety positions for recruitment for that year of that class. And he was like, well, you know, we can add weight on you because you got a nice frame. We can add some weight on you and get you and move you in as a linebacker and shit like that. So it was, you know, that was fine with me because I really was a selfless guy as far as, oh, should I go change positions or should I stick to what I want to do and not, you know, take the opportunity. But what they did tell me was, you know, they had one spot open for that linebacker. However, they already had a guy coming to Liberty for an official visit, like around the time that they had came by in Ocala to talk to me, and they were just telling me, like, if that kid were to commit by the end of the weekend, then it's just over, like, you know, because they gave me kind of like a last minute offer type of deal.
Okay.
They told me if dude don't commit, then we'll bring you the following weekend to give you the opportunity to. But if he does, then ain't nothing they can do for me.
It's a crazy situation.
Crazy situation. And of course, dude went there, didn't commit. They brought me there.
Was it the same position though?
Yeah.
He played?
Yeah. He played. He was a linebacker. I don't know where he was from, nothing like that. They just told me they had a linebacker coming in, and if he didn't commit, they'll bring me up there and bring me on an official visit. And I had the opportunity to, if I like everything I seen, to commit. But boy, when they told me that he didn't commit, I'd have to see anything. All I was thinking was, I ain't got no D1 offers, because growing up, that's what we always wanted to do, go Division I at the least. I'm like, this is the only Division I school I got even talking to me. So I was like, before I even went there, which the official visit was amazing, because the best part about that was, usually official visits, you got a couple athletes on the same weekend going to spend that time there and like get to know each other as recruits. I happened to go at a time where, like I said, it was a last minute deal. Yeah. So when I went, there was no recruits but me. So literally all the coaching staff, the support staff, everybody, they was all catering to just me and my mama, because I was the only one there for that weekend of recruitment.
So what y'all end up doing on that weekend?
So man, when we got off the plane, this dude, Mr. Paul, rest in peace, Paul. Paul Rotigliano, he picked us up in this big old black truck, whatever, and we had an hour drive from where we flew from. And on the way, he asked us like, you guys hungry? We like, yeah, we hungry. Like, we go Chick-fil-A.
Right.
Took us to the Chick-fil-A, got some free food then, and they dropped me and my mom to the hotel. And we thinking, get a hotel room. We got a little hotel room, see what we got. And they gave us 2 separate room keys. I had my own room, my mama had her own room. We walk in the rooms, and it's candy, sweets everywhere. Everywhere.
They had to set it like a cruise ship.
Yes,
okay.
like, but it's candy everywhere with your name on, there's a name on the cake. Welcome, Marii, da 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 da. It was just sweet. I went to Princeton and visit them, which I can tell you that was unofficial, because that was a matter of me and my mama paying for our own travel and expenses and all that. So that's how it really wasn't like. Well, what I learned about Princeton and those Ivy League schools, they don't give out football scholarships, like sports scholarships.
Gotcha.
So they give out, they give out money scholarships based off how you are eligible grade wise. Gotcha. And when I went there, they was breaking it down. It's like different tiers, like tier 1 to tier 5, and that had to do with like your test scores and GPA on where you ranked at, and it also had to do with kind of like how they viewed you as a player. So I was in one of them tiers, and what ended up happening was at the end of that whole little visit, because they showed me around the campus and stuff like that, and I watched the practice and stuff. It was cold as hell, but they ended up telling me like, oh, if you would fall in this tier right now, in this tier we kind of like full, whatever. It was like the deal where it was like, but they were like, if I can go back and take a test again to get a better score on one of my SATs, and I can go on a different one that would allow them to bring me in there if I wanted to go there and stuff like that. But I really wasn't too pressed on that, because one, I watched that practice, and boy, I was like, I can come out here right now and start.
Oh, so they were ass.
Yeah, they wasn't the best. But then, and then with that whole deal, because my test scores wasn't bad. That's the crazy thing. My test scores was actually like good compared to like the average test score. So I'm like, for me to go do all that, take a whole nother SAT, ACT, and do all that just to go there. At the time, like, man, I'm not doing that. I wasn't all for it. But then now you fast forward back to when I was talking about Liberty and all the other schools. That was a matter of, if you don't get any recruitment throughout your whole process, and nobody talking to you, your last straw is at the end of your senior year.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of got treated, because what happened in my junior year, I was getting like letters and this and that from different schools, but then I ended up getting hurt my junior year. So all of that started going out the window once I wasn't playing half the season and all that. And Then the off season I had to shake back, and I did play that spring. But anyways, so I didn't really have anything going into my last year. And then at the end of the season, that's why I said it all happened in like the winter.
All right, so look, it's winter. You finally got an offer. When did you sign? Was it still winter?
So, my official visit was in December. I verbally committed, and then from the rest of that time, I think signing day was in February. So a couple months go by, like I was committed, and then what happened was, but in between then and signing day, I met the head coach. He ended up, they usually try to come to your house and do home visits. Excuse me, but at the time I was playing basketball because I was a multi-sport athlete. So a lot of the coaches, they end up coming, well, two, the defensive coordinator and the linebackers coach that was at Liberty at the time, they actually did come to my house and had dinner with us and all that. But when the head coach wanted to come by, he was so busy and I was so busy, he ended up having to kill two birds with one stone, and he pulled up to one of my basketball games and watched me play basketball, and I just talked to him at the end of the game. Just had a little conversation. Like, it was nothing because it was an away game too, so we like, hey, like.
What game was that?
It was like we played against a school, East Lake in the Orlando-ish area, and it was a away game. So it was like, what else? What are we doing? Like, it's a varsity game. It's 8 o'clock. We an hour some change away from home. Like, what we about to talk about? Like, we ready to go home at this point.
Exactly.
So it was just tough, like, to where it was just a quick conversation with him, which it really wasn't a lot of fellowship to be had to get to know the man.
But by then it was kind of set in stone.
Yeah, no, I was committed, and then
okay.
They sent paperwork and things like that, whatever I needed for signing day in February. And in February, me and Odyssey, Cam, Zeke, it was a blessing, bro. I tell everybody the same story, and all of it, even the kids I coach now, I'm like, listen, even somebody like me, you know, y'all kids can look at me as somebody who did play the next level and all that, but, you know, as much hard work as I can say I did put in to get it, just even putting that much hard work, I still, you know, just made it to Division I by chance. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I try to preach to these kids, you know, first, whatever you want to do, you must work harder than the next person because everybody's wanting the same thing.
Right.
Then two, you know, I try to preach realism. Like, okay, what we gonna do if this, you know, if it doesn't work out? Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's our boy right there.
Who that?
AJ?
From Ocala?
Yeah, I think so. Hamilton, that's his last name.
Look like it.
Got dreads, yeah. But I teach the kids realism, like, you know, because I've witnessed so many people from high school not making it to college, and then college not making it to the pros, that they be so stuck on making it to when it's not a reality. Those first couple years, they just sitting in a hole, kind of reminiscing on what they could have, I don't know, not making it, what they could have did better, like whatever that is keeping you from just moving forward, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't want these kids to, you know, make football their number one and their only number. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough, when I was in high school, I kind of fell in love with the coaching side of the game before I went to college. So if it, you know, whatever happened, I was already prepared to kind of find a lane or just find a career aspect for the rest of my life that I'd be interested in. It was just when the time came, you know, and that's why I preach it, because I went through it, that there's going to be a time where the chances of you making it to the next level look slim.
All right, so let's talk about that. You signed, you went there, it's your freshman year. How was going to practice and being on the team like that first year? Man,
that first year it was so funny, man, because mind you, I got recruited as a linebacker.
And you played like
but
safety.
I played free safety before that in high school. So I was only 190 pounds, and they asking me to play a 225, 230 pound position. So obviously, I had already in my head knew, and luckily I just knew how football worked in college about red shirt. And like I already knew I had the red shirt because I had to gain weight and whatever other reasons. But man, going there, being so much smaller for my position, and everybody else in my position group was funny because they was all just calling me Lil Red, because I was so small. And then a lot of people didn't realize my situation either, knowing that, oh, he used to play safety. So like a quick story, like when I got there, a bunch of us that came in together as freshmen, we all went to the field one day to do like one-on-ones, just see who was raw and who wasn't.
Yeah.
And they used to think I was a linebacker for real, so I was slow. I'm guarding the receivers, I'm guarding the running backs one-on-one. They like, hey, you fast? I'm like, well, yeah, I ain't played linebacker. You think what? I'm a slow little, bulky little linebacker.
Exactly.
I'm the same weight as you probably. But going back into the freshman year, it was just, I had the red shirt and gain weight. That was my whole freshman year. You got to gain weight, big dog. Like, and it was kind of, I will say, what I did experience that I didn't like, it was more of like, they wouldn't even want to put me in as much as like just camp and practice and stuff, just saying like, oh, you know, you got to gain weight first before they even like see the field to see if I can even play.
Yeah.
Which later on I experienced that. I had a coach. He said he didn't give a damn about none of that weight stuff at the time. He was just like, because he came in new and trying to figure out who was gonna be his players anyways. So once he tried to give people a shot and was like, look, you know, he threw me out there at 215 where my coaches back then before him wanted to get me at 225, 230 before I even seen the field. So I'm like, damn, I gotta gain all this weight before I can even get a chance for real.
That's crazy.
You know, so that coach, he let me go out there at 210, 215, and I was making plays still. And that's how I end up one of them going into one of them years starting and all that, because he just gave me a chance. He wasn't like on no, you know, oh, you don't weigh enough yet. He was like, if you could play at 215 and make plays, why would I not let you play?
Because one thing I can say about you in high school, that boy's gonna make a tackle.
Yeah, I was, you know, and what's crazy, to be honest, what a lot of people don't know, when I played Pop Warner, I remember this game like it was yesterday. I used to be a way better tackler. One day, I had hurt my finger somehow tackling somebody like on the ground, and ever since then, I had mastered the art of ankle biting. Because when I was playing in that game, couldn't wrap up with my hands because my hand was hurting her. I'm like, my finger down there felt broke. So at the time, I'm like, man, what the hell? So I was just hitting low, and I kind of carried that on through high school and stuff like that because I never really played linebacker, so it didn't really matter for me to hit up high either.
Okay.
So when I was playing early on, it was funny because I'd be a linebacker in the box, coming down low tackling people in the hole, through the hole, cut sticking, and flipping people. So that was my whole freshman year, was just, you got to gain weight and learn the system, just stuff like that, where it was just a learning process. But it was fun, you know, I was a red shirt. I got to enjoy that time and that aspect of being in college, like having that year to just, you know, kind of have a little fun. When the team traveling, I'm, you know, the weekend I'm free, you know, ain't no game, you know, at home. So we used to be able to just stay in an apartment, probably watch the game on TV, or just have that weekend and go have some fun as a college student.
All right, so after that freshman year, when was the moments that you started seeing the field or feeling like you had a chance to even start?
So that was, like I said, after my second year, we got a coaching change, a head coaching change where the whole staff changed.
From who to who?
From what, the coaches?
Yeah, it was head coach, right?
Yeah, head coach. So he brought in, a whole new staff of people. Like everybody left.
So who was the coach?
Like except for like the support staff.
Who was the head coach that recruited you?
Head coach that recruited me was Turner Gill.
And then they switched to
Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze came in, you know, he used to coach at Ole Miss.
Okay.
And they was, you know, beating Alabama and beating you know, they was competing. So, you know, we was big on that coach because we like, shoot, something really finna happen now. Besides me getting my chance with them, it was a few people, bro, that didn't get a chance. And that been there and were older than me and had played more than me the year before they got there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My second year, I was special teams, and then going in my third year, they didn't play some people that played in the games my second year when I was just special teams. And it was because they were either older or it was just somebody that didn't like, or I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyways, going into that, the coach gave me a chance. I don't even know. I think I started out as, did I start out as a second team guy? I might have started out as first team. I can't even remember.
This your sophomore year, right?
This is my junior. This is my junior year.
Okay.
This is my third year, but I'm a redshirt sophomore technically.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a redshirt sophomore. But this is because the dude came in the springtime after that second season. So he came in the spring. So the first glimpse of them kind of seeing how we played and stuff was in the spring. But they threw me in the fire, and that's why I said, just give me a shot. I'll go show you something. Bro threw me in there. I wasn't at the weight that the old coaches want me to play or whatever. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I was out there making plays, and then it resulted into me starting the spring game. So I go into the spring game starting, go in the spring game, have a pretty decent spring game, which obviously I went into the next year, projected to start, and then I ended up starting. So going to that, now we go into that third season for real, the fall season. I'm a redshirt sophomore, and I done mess around and I'm starting against ranked number 22, Syracuse, at home, biggest game ever for the school history. And I'm starting linebacker against Tommy DeVito. If you know who Tommy DeVito is, he played for the Giants a little bit when they was trash. Which they've been trash, but you know, if you know, you know. I played against, who else was on that team? It was some defensive players that's in the league now. I can't remember off the top of my head. No, it wasn't that team. It was another team that when we played Pacheco. We played against Pacheco that year too. No, he didn't play at Syracuse.
Where is that?
He played at Rutgers.
Okay.
He gave us that
That's why
wizard.
that was at Miami.
No, running back for the Chiefs.
Oh.
Yo. He gave us that wizard. But that year, you know, that first game, nervous as fuck. I went from playing special teams the whole season to starting the next year. Mm-hmm. Of course, you know, I had a spring and all that I could have kind of had some momentum to come off of, but still, you got to remember, this a position that I'm not familiar with, so it's not something I played all my life. Mm-hmm. Then to go in and play against this big game and all that, did I have jitters? Yes. Could I have played better? Hell yeah, everybody could play better. Apparently, it wasn't good enough for the defensive coordinator to start me the next game. So, you know, which ended up resulting in I played the next game at linebacker, but I didn't start. And then that kind of carried on throughout the season where I think I started 2 games that year. After that first one, I started like 2 games. And then other than that, I played in other games, but I was always on special teams still too. Okay. So that's how that year went. And then after that, that's when I, in the off season, I had got hurt. And then, you know, the story from there is didn't shake back from the injury and ended up resulting in me just, you know, I did graduate early, so I called it quits and went to start coaching.
So boom, you got injured. Did they ever take your scholarship?
Yeah, so, you know, and just for the sake of who people watching, just to give you an idea on how like scholarships is all this work, bro. Scholarships are year to year. For people that don't know, scholarships are year to year. When they sign you, they're signing a 1-year contract with you saying, we're going to give you this scholarship, we're going to pay for all this, we're going to do all this for you. At the end of the period of the contract, basically, I'm trying to put it in the more just people terms. At the end of the contract, they're going to look at, was you a troublemaker? How were you with your grades? They're going to look at how did you perform as a player. You know what I'm saying? They're going to look at all these things to evaluate you and say, are you worth renewing this contract for another year?
Yeah.
So the normal, you know, if you do everything you're supposed to, you are not in trouble, all this, it seems like you got a 4-year deal because they just end up re-signing it, whatever. So, like now going off what I just said, when it's time to redo mines, I'm hurt still from the whole season when I got hurt. Then I was still injured in the spring, like I didn't shake back. So when it came down to that end of the year process, you know, they sat down and they, you know, obviously I can tell you what they kind of thought process was. They like, okay, the guy didn't have much, you know what I'm saying, production for us throughout his career. He's hurt. We were projected to see him in the spring. That didn't happen. So now they thinking, all right, can we go get somebody else that's healthy that can help us? It's a business. So that's where that tough conversation comes in. They call me to the office and it's a matter of, hey, you know, you kind of not really all the way healthy yet. And we're kind of on the verge of moving on. Because they like, you know, it's business. Why sit here and keep tending to me? Who knows when I'm going to get back healthy to play again, as if I sat there and gave them a 100 tackle season with 5 sacks. And like, I didn't give them that. So I'm nobody for them to sit there and keep tending to with their money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Which why when they gave me that conversation, I had no issues. You know, I ain't feel no. I mean, of course, I felt a small type of way, but then the real person in me had to realize, like, if it was me, I'd do the same thing. You know, so that's why, you know. And they told me, you know, we can try to get you somewhere else to go play, and this, that, and the third. But when around the time when all that was going on, that's when that realism started hitting, and I started realizing,
like life after school.
Yeah, like I'm just looking at it like I can't even shake back when they thinking I'm supposed to go perform. When I do get back, I'll be bottom of the totem pole. Ain't no telling what it'll look like if I do get back to where I was starting to this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not trying to doubt myself or nothing, but I'm just thinking. And then you got to understand, if I already knew how recruitment worked in high school going to college, think about making it to the NFL. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I was the type of person, if it wasn't NFL, I'm done. Like, I'm not gonna go CFL, overseas. I wasn't interested that much. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Some people got it in them to, I want to play ball that bad, I want to play basketball, I want to play whatever sport that bad, that I'm gonna go to a different country and play. Cool. I encourage it. If you know what I'm saying? Me personally, I'm not finna leave the United States to go play somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And just, I just wasn't interested. At that time, there was no transfer portal. There was nothing like that. If you transfer, you had to sit a year at the time still. I had a surgery my first year.
Okay, what was that surgery?
I had a lateral meniscus tear my freshman year, right in the beginning of this football season, my freshman year, when I was on scout team. And I think I did it from, I never was on that turf before. Yeah. So cutting, I think I tore my meniscus on the outside right here. It was something smooth, just get a quick little surgery.
So boom, you injured. Don't see football in your future as far as playing. Yeah. So you in school for coaching, though, right? That was like.
I was in school for coaching. I was in a bachelor's program for coaching, which is crazy.
So how much more of the bachelor's program did you have to do after, you know, realizing you're not gonna play football anymore?
So at that time, that spring that they talked to me, that was the spring I was graduating. Oh, okay. With the bachelor.
So it all kind of
happened. It lined up. Yeah. And I'll tell, like I said, for the camera, people that's watching, who's maybe younger kids, how it works is, if you ever in that situation, they'll get rid of you way faster if they know if you graduating before your time over. Like because the only reason I graduated early because I had credits from high school. Yeah. If I wasn't like that and I had to take 4 years to get all the credits I needed to graduate, they probably would have kept me. Since I just got hurt. It wasn't like I got in trouble or nothing. Mm-hmm. Since I got hurt doing something that they wanted me to do, play football, if I wasn't graduating, there would have been a chance I could have stayed, just because they don't be that fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. These people don't be that messed up to say, oh, bump his degree, bump all that, we're going to get rid of him. Most people, what they'll do is, because they did this to other kids, they will honor their scholarship to make sure, to help them till they get their degree. Once you get your degree and you graduate, then they'll get rid of you. But they'll honor your scholarship, but you don't have to. I don't think like they don't ask you to come around no more, stuff like that.
Okay.
Like they might not ask you to come around, or they might keep you around, but you go practice player, special, like your role go down if you get, assuming you get back healthy and stuff, because they'll already have their mind changed about you if they take that route.
Okay.
Like if they said, you know what, Jenkins not, graduated yet, we'll keep his scholarship on because he got hurt till he graduate and stuff. But they'll have their mind made up, like, but we're not gonna bank on him doing anything for us. Now, if anything could have happened where I could have got back in it, yeah. But like I said, I graduated, so it made it easier for them to be like, oh, he graduated, so we're not hurting them. Like it's one thing if you ain't, you got your degree, you get your degree, we finna pack him up.
All right, you graduated. You came back home, right, after graduating?
Yeah, so I came, after graduation, I came back to Ocala, and man, just going through that kind of emotional aspect of leaving all these guys, because you met them, them guys I was real cool with, some good people I met.
They're not moving out here, some of them, right?
Yeah, some good people I met, man, and just having to leave them, I left them, because I'd have been arrested, I had 2 years. So I left them 2 years earlier than I had to, and it was just, I was still kind of hurt about it. So in between me leaving and then my next move, that summer, boy, I was out there coping with it. I was going, we had already planned the trip that we paid for to go to Vegas because COVID happened around that time. So nobody went on spring break that year, 2021, nobody went on spring break. But we had went on a summer trip to Vegas, so we had did that first. That was cool, got that together. But then after that, man, I was going so many places that I was just like, dog, like, I just was trying to get that out of my head and just enjoy life right now. At the same time, it really wasn't too much of that. It was just me not knowing my next move and not really taking it serious at the time.
Yeah.
But boy, I got back to that house, and it was about that second, third day of me just being sitting around and nothing. Mama came back there. You ain't about to be here just sitting, you know what I'm saying? So then that happened to where the story between leaving college and coaching, that's when concept came about. But before that,
they don't know what concept is.
My
boy was in construction over the summer.
And you know what? All the story just adds into why I do what I do now. Cause man, you know how it was before that. I'm just trying to find something to do, just get some money right now before I figure out what I'm gonna do long term. So that ended up me going into a temp service and getting a quick little warehouse job. I was in Dollar General warehouse out there in Marion Oaks from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. unloading. Boy, when I tell you, and mind you, my leg was still a little gimpy. So it wasn't like
so you
standing up for what? That's
11 hours.
11 hours. Because they don't let you sit down.
Yeah.
They don't let you sit down. So
and you moving shit. I know you pick it up.
When I tell you that it was the first or second day, I would have to go and ask them to use the restroom. And then just to go in the toilet and just sit on the toilet and let my leg rest, bro, because it was hurting that bad, like just standing up all day. So that was one thing. But boy, it was that second day I was there, and I just going into the break room. We had a break, a lunch break, and I'm just looking at everybody around me, and I'm like, man, this cat is like, he about 60, 70, 40. These grown folks like look like they doing this to take care of their family, and I'm like, just look how miserable this shit is, bro, and how dreadful it is. I said, yeah, this will be my last time. This will be my last day working here. And it wasn't really the job. It was just I just didn't see. Obviously I didn't want to do that no much longer. But it was like, bro, it was time for me to really figure out, because I knew I wanted to coach. It was like, I'm finna figure out what I'm finna be coaching, where, whatever. And then, but still, I was still searching. But in between that time, that's when we came about with, in that time span, they came about with concept. So me and my dog, we end up doing construction.
What?
We ain't do construction.
I'm watching windows, but
We was doing anything that they asked us to. We was like, I tell them we call it miscellaneous workers.
yeah.
Like, then the dude was telling us when he hired us, because it was we knew people to get connected with him where we was good people to him that he looked out for us, but it was a matter of, he told us, he like, yeah, I'm just giving y'all something to put money in y'all pockets for real.
Cool ass dude.
Yeah, shout out Brandon Bass. Shout out Mr. Bass. He sure put some money in our pockets because the money was decent. And then we spent the whole summer together just going up there. We learned about construction and all that world, and it was fun, low key, because we got to do it together.
So during that time at Concept, you was applying for other colleges for your masters?
During that time.
Okay.
During that time, I was looking to go college coaching at the time. So, because the normal route you can do with college coaching, you can do a graduate assistantship at a school either you played for or you apply to. You could be a part of the coaching staff as like assistant of the assistant coaches, and then you'll be in grad school. That's how it usually works. That's the easy way.
What's that called again?
Graduate assistant.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a scholarship for masters. They're paying for your masters, but you helping them coach too, and you learning the game and how it works.
You traveling as well?
No, so you're not traveling. You're not doing no recruiting. Nothing. It depends where you at. Let me start there. So, with what I did, I ended up doing that same deal, but at a D2 school. Now, of course, just like when you playing as a player, the money's different. So the money was drastically different when I ended up deciding to go to a Division II school as a grad assistant, and my responsibility changed. I was a full-time coach.
When you was out there?
I was working like a full-time coach. Like, it wasn't no get me no coffee, none of that. I was coaching a whole position group of kids.
Linebackers or?
Yeah, I was doing outside linebackers, so like more like, pass rushers, but it can also cover a little bit too. And the crazy thing was, remember, I'm 22, 23, and guess how old these guys was? 22.
About 19.
20. No, the same. I coached dudes that was older than me. I was coaching dudes that was older than me by a few months or maybe a year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so.
That's how I be though, especially in college.
Yeah, well, not normally. It's not actually.
Like, if you just graduated, that's how it's going to
Yeah,
be your
yeah,
first
yeah,
year, your
yeah.
first couple of years.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But you're not ever really getting a full-time job when you just leave most of the time. In high school, but in college, they normally don't just throw you in that fire right away. You got to learn the game because there's a lot to learn. Like, I was recruiting high school kids, so that's how I know how recruitment works. Now that I'm a high school coach, I was recruiting high school kids. They gave me an area to recruit kids. I had to go reach out to, I had a whole spreadsheet of all my recruits. I had to go reach out to hundreds of kids, keep in contact with them and build these relationships, all that good stuff. Then I had my do-boy jobs at the same time. I had to wash the freaking laundry every day or get their equipment out and stuff like that before practices, and then I had to help with workouts, like, teaching lifts, and like I had to do anything, like, so it was a lot because in D2, again, the money's different, so there's not as much people, like.
Because it's not like a regular hourly job, it's more so of like not a pension, what is it called?
Stipend.
Stipend?
Yeah, so I was getting a stipend, and boy.
That's like once a month you get
you get paid a certain amount, and you gotta make that, you gotta
stretch it, yeah.
Boy, but.
So you end up doing valet plus.
No. So
how that work?
How it worked was I only had so much money I took to Oklahoma with me, and my stipend wasn't a lot of money. Let's just say I can barely afford to live, whatever. But it got to the point where I was using so much of my own money and the money they gave me, it came to a certain month in the year, I ain't had no money left.
Right.
So I had to make a decision. So I'm like, look, I'm out here, and it's either you get another job, but when I tell you, Grant, I was working 70 hours at the least.
That's just at the grad
At the
position.
football, yeah, doing that. 70 in a week.
In a week?
In a week.
Talk
Literally
about
doing the
11
numbers.
hours.
Because you gotta understand, main day you really got off is semi-Saturdays, depending on this time of the year. Because if it's in season,
Sundays y'all doing film.
if it's in season, Sundays you watch a film, and Saturdays you playing. So it was a 7 day. It was a 7 day job then. That's why I say 70 hours, and then it might get looser as in the off season, but still you're still doing a lot in the off season. Recruiting, because recruiting gives a lot of hours. So go ahead.
That experience, did that deter you from still wanting to coach, or what mindset did that put you in?
No, it didn't. It just made me like, I wasn't really tripping. I'll be honest. I wasn't tripping on doing all that. Was it tiresome? Hell yeah. But at the same time, I was kind of okay because I was like, at least I'm not like, I was just upset. I was only concerned about like, hey, can I get some more money for doing all this? But you know, and then on top of that, I was in grad school, so I had to actually the way it was with the class. The way it was with the class I was in, it was every Wednesday night. It was one class. I was taking one class at a time, and it was every Wednesday night. You had to go to the class, something like that. You had to go to the class. It was nighttime too. So you telling me I had to do grad school, homework, all this with 70 hours of working for y'all, and I'm only getting paid barely enough to make ends meet, which it wasn't barely enough. Let me say that. I'm lying. It was less.
Yeah.
It was not enough to make ends meet because I kept coming out of my own savings and stuff that I had from just working that whole summer before. But anyways, you know, that's when I said I had to make a decision like of what I was gonna do. I was literally broke, had no money, couldn't even pay rent.
Yeah, because you're not living. It don't come with a housing situation.
That too. So that was another thing. Like I said, Division 1, they probably give you a place to stay, all that. Division 2, they couldn't even afford to give me nowhere to. That school is specifically, they couldn't give me nowhere to stay. You know, which is, you know, not to say nothing bad about them. Yeah, I had a meal plan.
You did?
I did have a meal plan, but they just couldn't afford to give me nowhere to stay.
Okay.
So I had to figure that out. And I'm coming from Florida to Oklahoma City, or where I was from Florida, regardless, anywhere, really the same thing. I was 16 plus hours.
Nigga, I made that trip with you.
Yeah, 1,000 miles. I was literally 1,000 miles from my hometown. So it's like, what am I supposed to, you know, I don't got no support. You know, it's just my mama, so what can she do? She got to worry about herself where she at. So, man, I had to really sit down and just have a talk with God, and like make a decision. I had called, you know, all my support, my friends, my family, people that I can look to for advice and getting input on what I should do. And everybody, when I told them, I'm like, look, man, because the first thought was, let me just get another job. But I was like, bro, I'm already working that much. And I mean, I'm only gonna be able to work but like 2 days because they need me every day of the week. So I was only gonna be able to work 2 days with the other job. So what job was I gonna get for 2 days that was gonna help me with all them problems?
Right.
So that's when the valet did come in. I did apply for the valet. I got that job. I told them the situation, blah, 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 blah. So they went ahead and let me in. But them 2 days of working on the weekends that I tried to do, it didn't help because I still needed more hours doing that to get more immediate money off the tips and stuff, you know. So that's when I had to go back and realize, look, man, if there wasn't nothing that them people could do, I had to make a decision to go ahead and let them go. And that's what it ended up resulting in. You know, I made sure I reached out to all the players, letting them know like what the situation was, stuff like that. Like, hey man, you know, just kind of telling them. And I always kind of gave them a little game as like, I'm around y'all age, so take all the stuff I go through as well as a learning lesson too, even though y'all the same age as me in college, but y'all in college, I'll be at college. So I'm telling them, you know, in the text, I'm like, you know, sometimes you gotta look out, you gotta do what's best for you, you know, stuff like that, depending on your situation.
Like you said, it's a business, so
it's a business.
You gotta make
so
that business.
Was I supposed to struggle and I was gonna get evicted, huh? So it's kind of what was I supposed to do? just, oh, I can't leave them, I can't just quit, and what? Y'all wasn't gonna help me out, y'all wasn't gonna pay no bills for me, so what was I supposed to do? I had no choice. You know, I wasn't finna sit there and break my back working now 100 hours to just make ends meet. Like, nah. At the end of the day, I'm sorry. I love coaching with all my might, but if it doesn't pay me enough to just take care of myself, come on, man. You gotta. That's why I said you gotta make choices that works for you sometimes, not for everybody. That's convenient for everybody.
You decide not to continue your master's, the grad program, and you move back to.
So what happened was, I reached out to the principal at Westport at the time, and I told him, hey, you know, I'm looking to come. I knew the principal real well. I told her, hey, I'm trying to come back and coach at Westport. You know, what do I got to do? What I got to reach out to? So she kind of gave me contact with the coach at the time. You know, and I reached out to him and was telling him I was interested in coaching. And mind you, I'm telling this coach, just a random person all the way in Oklahoma, my situation. But the fast forward how that went, you know, he gave me the job. Hearing that a college coach wants to come back and coach high school, who you gonna tell no? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so he gave me the job. It was just a matter of, he was like, I was telling him, you know, I'm gonna still be out here for a couple more months, but when I get out there, you know, we can finally meet in person and figure it out, what we gonna do, this and the third. So that's how that went about. So the next few months, I ended up working at the valet joint full time because I had
This before you came out here, so
yeah, it's before.
Like,
so when I guess you could say I quit. You know, once I quit the grad program and the grad assistant job, I ended up working valet full time and ended up getting back on my feet, getting the money to pay my rent and all that good stuff. So I was the next 3 months was what the time frame it was. Hell, I was doing good. I was feeling good, you know, but I already knew I was gonna leave soon. And I ended up leaving like 2 months before my lease ended at my apartment up there out in Oklahoma. But I had enough, I was gonna make some money back in Florida just to pay off my lease, and when it was over, not renew it, whatever. Because I had moved out way before. Yeah. All my stuff, when we, you know, drove back, I was already ready to go. So when it was time for them to do it, they got to do it in the apartment. It was fine. And then that's what led me to finally coming back home again, and then I did whatever stuff I had to do to work at the school for my job to get into coaching at Westport, and then from there it's history. Yeah. So that's why, with all that I went through, that's why I try to tell these kids, like, just don't, you know, think about yourself. You know, when you're in a tough situation where you kind of thinking, should I look out for what's best for a lot of people or yourself? If it kind of doesn't benefit you to where, you know, you're not gonna be able to, like, in the financial aspect, take care of yourself, this, that, and the third, or just anything that kind of doesn't put yourself first in a way where you looking out for others but nothing's coming back for you, you gotta kind of look at it, you gotta kind of see it through, is what I mean.